Hello, Radek.
Hey.
Good to see you again in person.
Yep.
And good to record in person.
Mm-hmm.
On video.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about gadgets and dongles and other interesting projects that we've had and we could share in the team here on Nozbe Reunion. So now let's share and talk about all of these new interesting ideas here on the podcast.
After take number 16, we finally managed to begin this show. So I guess we mostly wanted to talk about some gadgets.
Yeah, gadgets, because we've been talking about Nozbe Reunion on this show many times. We'll link in the show notes to past episodes. But one of the cool things about our No Office company is that on a tradition, on each reunion, we get some new gadgets. And previously, these gadgets were like have a t-shirt of that, a ball pen or whatever, typical. No, we never had ball pens.
We haven't had a ball pen.
Yeah, but
thankfully.
Yeah, good. But we had lots of. Did we have a ball pen?
Did we have a ball pen?
On this reunion?
No, on any reunion.
Yes, there were.
Oh.
We had ball pens too.
Lame.
Okay, yeah, everybody has a low moments. So anyway, the cool thing about this particular reunion is that we had lots of gadgets that were an initiative from our team. Like, people care so much about meeting in person and sharing the gadgets, is that the gadgets were just cool because they had the ideas for these gadgets, and they were just non-standard. Mm-hmm. So that's why it would be cool to share them here, on the podcast.
Yeah, I will start from mine.
Yeah.
So this is the third company reunion for which I brought 20-something, actually 30-something gadgets to give away in the company.
Handmade.
Handmade, kind of. I've been using that as an opportunity to just do something cool with my hobbies, right? So I've made 3D printed gadgets on the last two reunions. 2 reunions ago, I made a bottle opener, which was printed from PETG plastic with a coin inserted that actually grabs on the bottle cap. And
I actually have it with me, so if you're viewing it on the video, you can see it right here.
Yep. Yeah. So that was kind of a cool project, and
getting beer done.
Yeah, it says get beer done. Get things done, get beer done. I'm pretty sure I've described this on like a year ago or something, but I did this because I wanted to play around with 3D printing. I've had a printer for a couple of months at that point, and I wanted to play with PETG plastic, and I didn't have any particular reason to use it in my personal projects. So I was like, okay, let's just buy it for the company, and they'll pay for it, and I'll get to play with PETG. So right. I did that, right? And then for the last reunion, I also used PETG to print a coaster, like a mug or beer coaster.
And by the way, my daughters love these coasters. Yeah. They keep on stealing them from me.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I bet. And I did that partly because I wanted to play around with some kind of visual effects with 3D printing. So it was printed using very translucent plastic.
Yeah.
And it was a play on the Nozbe Teams logo, which has like 3 sides. And one of the impressions of it, you can do it monocolor, but you can do it with like gradients that have like different brightnesses to, symbolize the depth of the 3DN. I did that using just the depth of the plastic, right? Which if you put it against light, you actually make those gradients, even though it's like one plastic. But because it's translucent, I could play with that. But now I have access to the Warsaw hackerspace. And one of the cool things that I've always wanted to play around with was working with CNC. Yeah. And I mentioned that some time ago because I almost got access to a CNC milling machine. And I milled like one box, and then I lost access to it, and now I have a CNC laser cutter. So I made these laser cut phone stands. So I'm showing this on camera, but I'll try to describe it.
Yeah.
So this is made from HDF, which is high density fiber. This is a wood-like material.
Yeah.
This is essentially like wood fibers and glue that's like mixed together and pressed under high pressure to make a material that's very monolithic, unlike a plywood, which is it. And it's kind of hard to describe with words. So, but I will show this on camera. So the cool thing about it,
and we'll link it also to a photo in show notes.
Yeah. So the cool thing about it is that it's made out of one piece.
Yeah, and you can bend it.
Yeah. So it's HDF. It's not that bendable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be bent into a 3D shape to be a phone holder, right?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense if it's flat. So I could make it into multiple parts that you fit together to make a stand. But I use this cool technique called curve cutting. And it's just a series of cuts that are very close together. And it's kind of magic that, takes advantage of the fact that this material has a little bit of bend. And if you cut it in just the right way, the material, you spread this bending force not through the material, but in this zigzagging motion, which allows it to like bend amazingly, right? And so it's one piece, and you bend it around, and you put the place where you put your phone through a hole, and there you have a phone stand. And it's also vector engraved, using the same technique, just with less laser force, so that it doesn't go through. It just makes a mark.
Yeah.
And
Nozbe Team's photo, Nozbe Team's logo.
Yeah, it's a pretty. It has some kinks, some bugs, but it's a pretty decent phone stand actually.
But how did you design it? I mean, did you make several prototypes, or like how was the design process? If you can tell me.
Yeah. So I was looking for an idea for a gadget that I could make on a laser cutter, just because I wanted to have an excuse to play with that and like play with making something on a larger scale, not just like one prototype of something, but like a batch.
Yeah.
And I was looking for ideas, and I couldn't come up with anything that was interesting. Like I was thinking of a coaster, but that's boring. I already had that. Or maybe a little thing for your keychain. Yeah, but that was boring. But Hubert suggested that he could use a phone stand, since he's a designer and designs things for smartphones largely. So it's useful to like have a phone standing next to your laptop so you can test prototypes on device, right? And he suggested it would be cool if it was like easy transportable, since he switches offices. So I was looking for models already out there on the internet, just like not have to design something from scratch. And there were two which were fit from multiple pieces. And there was something very similar to this, and I just thought, this is freaking cool. Unfortunately, the problem with models for like 3D printing or CNC cutting on the internet is that they're almost always finished designs for cutting or printing, and you can't easily change them.
Okay.
So the model didn't work for me. It was very interesting, but it was too big. It didn't fit the laser cutter, and I couldn't easily shrink it, because you can't just scale it. You have to make sure the hole is still the right thickness, that the curve bend cuts are spaced the right way. And I tried to modify the model, but it just didn't work right. So I recreated the model I found on the internet, but just made it better and made it fully parametric, which means that every size, every spacing can be easily modified, and I will publish that online for others to use if they want.
Cool.
Yeah. And then you just export it for laser cutting, and I went through many prototypes, like 10.
Okay.
I broke many.
Yeah.
Had to figure out how to position each of the three parts. I mean, it's one part, but the bending segments, so that it doesn't have one part hanging in the air, making it very fragile. and it took many iterations because I couldn't that easily calculate it since it's all bendable. I had to like test it.
Yeah.
Right. But then when I got it just right, well, I wanted to make it even better, but I ran out of time because I'm doing everything on the last minute. Typical. So one day, last Wednesday, I went to the hackerspace just for the whole day. I was working remotely from there, and just every 20 minutes, I switched out the blank and hit cut, right?
Okay.
And just kept changing for 20, 30 times until it was done.
Cool. No, very cool thing. And and I like the texture, and I like how it even smells. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because when you cut it, it has this smell, this burnt smell.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why, but I find it very pleasing, even though it's like smell of cut wood and glue.
Yeah, that's true.
And for some reason, it stays for a very long time. This is about a week old, but I have some boxes that I cut from plywood, which have a couple of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, and they still smell. Yeah.
So that's brilliant, and that's actually kind of a theme, I think, for this reunion, for these gadgets. Like this whole, being more ecological, reusable materials, zero waste, and also, using things that are just, more natural, like for our stuff. And
like engineered wood.
Yeah. Exactly. But, it's still wood. Yeah, kind of. With this theme, you also had a different initiative to do to improve our monitoring of Luft, so of air, right? And today we had a workshop, actually, and we constructed our own, how do you call it?
Air quality sensor.
And it's brilliant, and it's here. So on the video, you will see it as a prop.
Yeah. So let me try to describe how it looks. Okay. So the Luftdaten sensor is it kind of looks funny because it's all hidden inside 2 angle segments of pipe.
Yes.
Like the kind of pipe you'd use in your
PVC pipe.
Yeah, just PVC pipe. You would use for your bathroom renovation or something.
Sewage.
Yeah, for sewage. And so here's the thing. We have in Poland a real issue with air quality.
Yep.
Especially in the winters. People live in old brick houses with really old furnaces. They burn a lot of coal. The coal is not very good.
Or they burn other things that are not coal.
Often on every street you have this one guy who decides it's a good idea to burn trash, or people burn wet wood or other stuff that just causes a lot of particulate matter pollutant in the air. So we have a real smog problem pretty much everywhere. Like it's not a like a big city thing. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Big city or not, because it's most smog in Poland is mostly due to just burning of crap quality.
Yeah. People burning crap.
Yeah, people burning crap essentially. So there's this initiative that comes out of Stuttgart called Luftdaten, and the idea is to build a network of smog sensors.
Yeah,
and to do it as cheaply as possible while still maintaining like usable quality data, like have actually fairly accurate data, so that it makes any sense. And the story behind it is that activists in Stuttgart were like, that was many years ago, were like, hey, the air quality in our city is crap. And the city officials were like, no, it's not. And the activists were like, yes, it is. And the city officials were like, no, it's not. And then the activists with some hackers were like, let's check.
Yeah.
And they found a bunch of parts, cheap parts from China, put them together. The pipe angle segments are because they fit perfectly.
Exactly. And really like to the millimeter. It's really good.
And you can buy it in any construction store, so it's like really cheap material. You don't need to have any custom enclosure that would have to be designed and produced by someone, right? So the whole set is about $50.
Yeah. And it's really amazing. I mean, there's a microcomputer there with a Wi-Fi module. Yeah. There is a temperature sensor. Like it's
lasers.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, and the actual sensor is like it's a box that sucks air in. There's a laser, and it measures how much air or how much the laser spreads. Right.
Okay.
The more crap in the air, the more particulate matter, the more the light is spread.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that's actually measured. And it's actually surprisingly accurate. People from Germany, from Poland, from Bulgaria, hackers work together to like perfect it. They run experiments, putting it next to, professional gravimetric air quality sensors, which are literally 100 times more expensive to calibrate them, and it works actually surprisingly well. So the cool thing about it is that it's totally a civic initiative.
Yeah,
it was built, designed by hackers, by activists, by just people who were interested in doing that. It's all open hardware, it's open source, and the data is put online.
Yes,
and it's also open, and you can do whatever you want with it. So there are many online maps for that. There are many apps for that. You can get the data to aggregate them, make statistics, make reports. It's very powerful stuff, right? And there are other projects like it. This one is the biggest, and there are apps that aggregate data from all of them. And what we want with that is that there are more than just 2 or 3 official, professional, government
sanctioned
stations measuring air quality, because it's often a local problem, right?
Yeah.
It's often this one guy on this one street which causes a lot of damage by, making as much pollution as the rest of the neighborhood combined. And so you want data that's constant and not like every hour. Yeah. And you want it spread around throughout the city. You want multiple sensors, 10 sensor or 100 sensors in a big city. And with something this inexpensive, it's possible. So since we're a remote company, I thought, wow, that's actually a great opportunity to build a bunch of those sensors. We've built 18. There are 18 volunteers.
Yeah.
Because we live all in different cities.
Exactly.
And so we'll have the first Luftdaten sensor in Cieszyn, the first Luftdaten sensor in Żywiec, and the first or the second sensor in many cities in Poland.
Yeah, it's really cool. And from my point of view, what was cool about this is like we had the whole package shipped here. And then we really had a workshop. I mean, first we had a presentation about this problem, about this initiative, and with some history and all that stuff. So it really helped us understand the whole thing. And second part was actually assembling it together. So it was like a fun, cool exercise, like in high school or primary school, like to assemble things together, And you were like this professor checking if we're assembling it correctly. So it was cool, fun, also as like a team building thing. So, and of course for all of us, then later contributing to the data, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I got the impression that I think people had quite a lot of fun doing that. Like to me, like I've never done any workshops like this, or like any workshop of any sort really, and to me it was like the most interesting parts are stuff that other people have already done. Like it's just like 3 components that you have to wire together and put in a pipe.
Yeah,
it's easy, right? But I guess it's easy and trivial. To me, because I've done stuff like this for a long time.
Exactly.
And a lot of people in the room never had any contact with printed circuit boards and wiring things between pins that are described on the board. And so it wasn't like something people did in 5 minutes. It took a little bit of time. Some people were impatient because to them it was also like obvious and trivial. But I guess it's also interesting that the people that would ordinarily never touch something as nerdy as this, wiring electronic components together, had the opportunity to do that. And I think it was most fun to them because it was new.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I like about just getting back to our reunion, that we have these kind of completely different workshops or presentations about stuff that we are passionate about, and we can share these passions, because really, I'm telling you, most of the people here had really no assembly experience in assembling things together. I mean, we are this generation that we are right now already used to just buying everything, everything is taken care of for us, so really tinkering with stuff, it's only for the nerds. So now we could all be nerds in this moment, to really tinker with things. And even though, as you said, it was pretty easy to assemble, but it was still, I think, gratifying for people.
Yeah. Let's talk about Rafał's project.
Exactly. So Rafał, our VP of product, a friend of the show, and
competing podcaster,
of Bo Czemu Nie podcast. So Rafał had a presentation about zero waste, and it was really cool. Something that my wife is completely also a friend of the show is on board, and she made us reuse Amazon boxes for storage purposes, like all that stuff, and also with trash and everything. So it was really a nice presentation about something, this fact that we shouldn't just generate waste and generate trash. Mm-hmm. And Rafał's fiancée, she built something, some really personalized gadgets for us. I have here the props. So here, so these are bags created from clothing that you can use for bread, to buy bread, to buy groceries. And all of them have a Nozbe Teams a tag. So and really, really nice stuff. Really, and also all handmade by Rafał's fiancée. So it's really, really cool stuff. To have reusable bags, reusable stuff to clean dishes and everything else. So like really, really cool initiative, and everybody got these personalized gadgets. So so really, I think the problem of this reunion is that we took the gadget level to a whole new level. Like after this, it's gonna be hard to compete.
Our gadget game is strong this reunion, and you're right. It's gonna be hard, if not impossible, to top that. And every reunion after that will be a gadget disappointment.
Exactly.
I mean, we might as well give up and start giving away ball pens.
No, but the thing is, for me, really, what I really liked about all this was really initiative from people, from the team. Mm-hmm. How can we contribute? How can we create gadgets that share with others, right? Like, and even this, this T-shirt. This T-shirt is brilliant, and it's also a T-shirt made out of ecological cotton, like much more expensive than the traditional T-shirt would be, like from the crappy Fruit of the Loom. So
burn.
So. And it's just so nice, this T-shirt. Like we got it on Monday, so I was wearing it 2 hours on Tuesday, 1 hour on Wednesday. So I wanted to have it for the whole reunion, just to have every day a little bit of this experience without without sweating it too much. So it's really cool stuff. And also we have the shopping bags, also from organic cotton, with Nozbe Teams logo, of course. So. Again, something that my wife would definitely appreciate, something that I would appreciate actually. So cool stuff, really cool gadgets.
Yeah.
And one more thing, also the cups for tea, and something that we have that we do appreciate as remote workers, because this keeps our tea on our coffee warm or warmer.
Yes.
For a period of time.
Programmers are machines, biological machines that convert coffee into code.
Exactly.
That's a well-known fact. Let me speak a few more words about the zero waste gadgets from Rafał and Ania. I'm super impressed by that.
Yes,
because
everybody was.
I totally didn't expect that. Like everybody expected me to, I guess, bring something, and the luminescence sensors were known ahead of time. And people were excited, but it wasn't a surprise. I guess I did something different because it wasn't some 3D printed gadget, but like still, I spent some time prototyping it and went through many iterations, and then spent one day working from somewhere else to do this. But most of the work was made by a machine.
Yeah.
Right? But sewing by hand, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4 like very lightweight bags for produce, like produce bags, so that you don't have to buy the
get the plastic because
get the plastic to like get produce. One large bag and this or something, and one dish cleaner that's made out of hemp, I think. Times 25 or something.
Exactly. Yep.
That's
lots of work.
That's a lot of work. And
this was like a difficult decision for me. When Rafa approached me with this, I was like, hell yes. Like it was, but hell yes. Like
how long did you know about this project?
Oh, quite a while, because they had to plan for this. So I knew that.
Yeah, I did everything on the last moment, but I kept it. It wasn't a huge surprise, but I kept the details a secret.
Yeah. So really, so again, in these gadgets, lots of love, which is good. Like additional magic ingredient, which is cool. So I would encourage any company to have that kind of initiative, from people to really care about the gadget so much. So let's see what we'll do in half a year.
Well, I guess we'll talk more about this zero waste movement sometime not too distant future on the podcast, since I've also made many changes in my life in that regard over the last year or so, and have some thoughts and some tips.
Certainly here as well. As I mentioned, my wife is much like she pushed me also like into this direction, and there are lots of things that we changed in our household as well. So
so we'll get back to that.
Yep, will be a good topic.
All
right. So I have more props here because for this reunion I've really optimized stuff. Because of you, so your fault. We discussed a year ago that you challenged me to be backpack only, so to just travel here with a backpack. So as I mentioned in the previous show, one of the previous shows, I have this new backpack, the Fjärraven backpack. It's really, really good because if it's empty, it looks very slim, but it packs 23 liters, so it's really good. So one of the pro tips I wanted to share here and also show on video is the carabiner that I use to close the backpack, because I use the carabiner with this spinning, like security thing. So this way I close the backpack and close the only pocket that it has on the outside. So this way the thieves, when I'm walking in the city, cannot open it so easily. Of course, it can be done, pretty easily, but still, it's a nice way to just deter people from just like randomly opening your backpack.
I also recommend having at least 1 or 2 carabiners on a backpack. For travel, they can be very useful to just hang things from your backpack that don't fit in the backpack. That's not necessarily the most pretty elegant option, but sometimes when traveling, it's just it buys you free space.
Oh yes.
Sometimes, for example, when I have a jacket, right, and I don't have space for the jacket, and it turns out it's too warm to wear a jacket, I just hang it from my backpack, and it works, right? Or I saw you hang your Bose QC35 headphones from the carabiner.
Exactly. It's so much easier. Yeah, completely. And also, what I always have with me is the tripod / selfie stick.
When someone saw this on your backpack,
so cool.
They asked if it's a bicycle pump.
Exactly.
It kind of looks like it.
It kind of looks like it. But the cool thing about it is that really it's a selfie stick, but also a tripod.
Why do you need a selfie stick exactly?
Because I have a $1,000 phone, so they just give it to somebody to take a picture of me or of me with friends. It's kind of, risky. So I prefer to take pictures with selfie stick, but also because I can put the tripod and take pictures with the tripod. And really, I've had so many opportunities to use this while traveling that it's really useful to have it always with me. Another discovery was, I like watching Netflix and stuff and Prime Video and all that stuff. And of course, it's good that I can download stuff to my iPad. I can view episodes offline, especially now the last season of The Man in the High Castle. So great. But in the hotel room, we have big screens. So why watching something here when I can watch something there? So for that, I have this new cable. And I really love it because it's USB-C, HDMI. But USB-C is not a USB-C HDMI dongle. It's a direct cable. So I just connect it to USB-C on my iPad and to the HDMI hole in the hotel on the hotel room television. And of course, they try to hide it from you. But if you just fill the television on the sides, and you're a nerd like me, you will find the hole, and then you just fit it there, and then on remote change the source, and you can mirror the screen of your iPad, and then of course watch a series of your favorite show if you have a moment.
The secret hole on the back of the hotel television, they don't want you to know.
Exactly. They really are trying hard to hide this, but this is really cool.
It's a shame it's not a retractable cable.
Yeah, but having said that, this cable comes with this Velcro. And this Velcro, you can actually buy this Velcro,
a roll of it.
Yeah. And this is a pro tip from our friend of the show, Leon. And this Velcro actually on this cable was an inspiration for me how to build my own Velcros. So what it does is it has this, this hole, and
you have to explain it.
Yeah, I have to explain it. So what you do is you have to cut a piece of a Velcro, and then one part of it, make it narrower, and then punch a hole in it. So this way you can attach the Velcro permanently to the cable, and then use the rest of the Velcro to gather the rest of the cable. So it's really cool stuff. So what I did is I bought the Velcro for all of my cables and just kept doing that. So now I have it everywhere.
Yeah, when you don't have a retractable option, this is a pretty good alternative.
Yeah.
I've tried that before, but I tried to just roll one end of the Velcro on one side of the cable as the permanently attached part, and it just kept coming off accidentally. The idea to make it narrower and punch a hole so that you can kind of wrap around the very narrow end through the hole and then again is a very good one. It's kind of hard to explain in words, so I think you'll have to put a picture of it in the show notes or on Twitter or something.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I'll also show how it looks like. So on the video. So there is a narrow part, there is a hole, and then there is the big part. But yeah. I'll take the picture.
You can buy like a 5-meter roll of it on AliExpress for like $3 or $4.
It's really cheap and it's really good. I found one from the Ugreen company. So yeah, another cool gadget I have for traveling is this white thing. This is Apple Watch charger that also is an Apple Watch power bank, which is really cool. I have an Apple Watch, of course, and to charge it, I can even charge it without cables. It has, it's a power bank, so I just put the Apple Watch on this, and it charges. So I have this permanently attached to my backpack. So anytime, I need more juice for my Apple Watch, I can use that. And of course, it has micro USB, so, I can use any standard micro USB cable to charge that.
If only it was ever possible to make a watch that lasts at least a whole day so that you don't need a watch power bank.
Shut up.
If only.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially now on the Series 5, the battery life is a little bit worse because it's always on, but the always on thing is just amazing. So, yeah. That's that. another cool gadget I want to talk to you and show you is this hyperdrive. It's a USB-C dock that docks perfectly to the iPad Pro, and also because it's USB-C and you have a thin laptop, it also docks to your laptop, and which was great because it has the HDMI port. So what I did for the whole reunion, I just left it in our conference room, so anyone with a USB-C port could just attach it to the laptop or to the iPad and stream their screen to the projector. So pretty useful.
Yeah, this one is optimized for the iPad Pro. It has this kind of protruding metal part so that it fits nicely, but it also fits the MacBook Pro pretty well. And I see you can unscrew this part to fit any sort of device.
Yes, they actually give you a cable that you can screw in. A cable, right?
A cable?
Yeah.
What do you mean a cable? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this part, you can change it into a cable. So you can unscrew the whole thing, and so this way it's very flexible. But I don't carry it with me. But
yeah, it has HDMI, USB-C power through, SD and micro SD, USB Type A, and a headphone jack, which
iPad Pro doesn't have.
Yeah, because who would need that?
Exactly. And if only this iPhone Pro had USB-C, it would be great.
It would be great.
But it doesn't. So that's why, and that's the annoying part about Donglegate and Dongle Town. I just have to carry dongles for the iPhone and for the iPad. If it all were USB-C, it would be so much better. So yeah. Just honorable mention of this company, the Hyperdrive. They have just a Kickstarter campaign for a very compact power brick. Because right now, I have this new power brick from, I think it's Ugreen. It's both USB-A and USB-C, and it's pretty powerful. I don't know how many watts it has, but it's pretty good. This way I can charge both my iPhone and the iPad with the USB-C to Lightning or USB-C cable. So I have both.
It's a 30-watt charger, by the way.
30-watt charger,
which is perfect for the iPad and even for light work on a MacBook Pro for traveling. I think it should be okay-ish.
Yeah, so that's why I think it's great. But the Hyperdrive guys, they have right now the Kickstarter campaign for a charger which is just a little bit bigger, but has two USB-A, two USB-C ports, and 100 watts.
Yeah.
So and I have I have no affiliation with this company, but I am a supporter of this campaign, and actually I'm waiting for this charger to ship in 2 months. So I think that's pretty much it. So for me the change is that I'm trying to, despite Apple doing this with the iPhone, I'm trying to live this USB-C lifestyle as much as I can. So to have as compact of a setup as I can and use the USB-C ports. That's why this power brick has USB-C, and also the big one, which I also carry around, has also like 4 USB-A and 1 USB-C port. So yeah, the USB-C lifestyle would be even better with the iPhone having USB-C.
Yeah, it would be easier if we supported competition and not companies from California which don't want us to have nice things. Yeah. I was actually pretty disappointed with that. With the new devices Apple shipped this year, they didn't up their charging brick game. Only on the proest of pro iPhones, they were gracious enough to give us more than 5 watts. But a couple of companies, for example, Anchor, and I guess the company you're talking about, I think it uses the same technology. There are now these gallium nitride.
Yeah, that's the one.
Power transistors that allow you to make charging bricks that are much smaller.
Yes, exactly.
Because they can switch a voltage really, really fast, so you don't need a huge capacitor and inductor to hold the, boring nerd stuff. Point is, smaller chargers, and Apple is not part of that game yet.
You just look at that. I mean, I have 2 power bricks here, and they're pretty big together, right? And I can exchange all that with 1 power brick, which is going to be just a little bit bigger than this one. And also, because of the iPhone having Lightning, I have to carry both cables, the USB-C Lightning and the USB-C USB-C cable, both, as you can see, with my Velcro handmade. Yep. So that's the stuff that hopefully Apple will change next year.
All right. That's been a lot of Dongle Town, a lot of gadgets.
Yeah.
We'll put the links to all of them.
Yep.
In the show notes, so you can get them.
Go shopping for Christmas gifts. I mean, this is like, we've had a Christmas episode, kind of, people can shop for gadgets, right? Everybody likes dongles.
Yeah, and if you want the single part phone stand,
you will do.
Yeah, I'll post a link to the DXF files on Thingiverse. So if you have a laser cutter, you can make it yourself. If you don't, you can buy a laser cutter for Christmas. Yeah. I'm sure your family will appreciate that. The smells of burnt wood.
All right. So with this Christmas spirit, one more thing. What I really liked about this reunion is that we have a very nice Christmas market very close. And speaking of that, if we wrap it up now, we could go for Glühwein and enjoy the Christmas spirit before the dinner.
The what?
Glühwein, so the warm wine. It's the German word for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's for me. For me, Christmas market is I've always like the Christmas markets in Germany, and that's why Glühwein. Sorry,
it's mulled wine, by the way.
Mulled wine, yeah. So So let's wrap it up and just go get that.
Yep.